Hello everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Diego Rodriguez. I'm the growth manager at Syncoria. Syncoria is an Odoo partner, and probably you have seen some of our videos. And here we have a great guest. He's Ishit Mehta. I'm sorry if I pronounce your name right or wrong. I'm sorry.
Right.
But Ishit is a really good friend. He's Odoo consultant. He has a lot of years of experience with Odoo, with ERPs. And Ishit, thank you for being here, and yeah, for
Hello.
sharing your experience. How's everything over there?
Hello. Thank you, Diego, for the introduction. It's all good here.
Okay, so we are going to talk about ERPs in general. I mean, not in general, but like trying to get the basic concepts. Sometimes we hear from our clients that, hey, I want to replace my accounting software, so I want an ERP. So it could be like that, but it's not only that. So there are a lot of misconceptions or key concepts that we want to to clarify. So why don't you tell us what you do at Syncoria, maybe a bit of your experience, and what are those concepts that you wanted to share with the audience?
Okay, so I'll share the general concepts of ERP and what I do at Syncoria. Basically, my role is as an Odoo consultant. So generally, I collect the requirements from the client, or the client service team collects the requirement from the client, and then we I generally try to sort it out, and then check what can happen with Odoo standard functionality, and then design a solution there, what customization can happen, and draw a solution for the client which suits their business process. So that's something that I do at Syncoria.
Okay, all right.
So, and I do agree that there are misconceptions towards ERP, that what should be the generic feature that should be available in an ERP. And today in this call will be covering something which is more related to a manufacturing company, like things that comes around that industry segment.
Mhm.
So I think that the general generic concepts or generic features that should be there with an ERP is like warehouse resupply, reordering rules with the inventory, certain make to orders or make to stock routes with the inventory management, and then the manufacturing module, which can really be helpful, like the bill of materials or the work orders, such kind of functionality. And then I think advanced shipping nowadays, things around that, like you inform your team
Right.
prior uh, for the shipment that is incoming or outgoing, right? So and then returns management, scrap management is also a very big part when it comes to
Right.
ERP,
Let,
though
let me
the. Mhm.
let me interrupt you. I'm sorry. Yeah, so that is very important to clarify from the beginning because I know that ERPs could be for uh, a store managing their POS system, or maybe someone has the accounting, or maybe they have a IoT boxes. I mean, there are like thousands of different areas where ERP, and specifically we're talking about Odoo, could be useful. But this video, we are going to frame it only for the manufacturing processes and related with inventory and those kind of areas, right? So just to
Yep.
clarify that we are going to frame this, we know that there is a lot of more questions on the other areas. Uh, I think we are going to prepare this kind of videos with all those areas. But for now, let's start with that one, right? So you mentioned a bit about manufacturing processes and inventory, right?
Yep. So basically, generally, what happens is like the core part with ERP manufacturing process is the bill of materials.
Mhm.
So, for example, let's assume that you are a furniture manufacturing company, and then you manufacture thousands of products, right? Which is in different size and shape, and there are tables, there are chairs that you manufacture. So each finished product has a set of raw materials, right? And you can't remember that what size of table it was or what exact components that I have used to manufacture a table. So generally, in an ERP, there's a concept of bill of materials. So bill of
Mhm.
material is generally represented also as BOM. What happens in BOM is basically, let's say you manufacture a table. So to manufacture a table, you need one table head, four table legs, right? Couple of screws and nuts, and then you need a glue, and then you need a
Uh-huh.
paint to paint the table. Then you may need a laminate, or you may need a glass on top of it, right? So there
Yeah,
could be
yeah,
so many variants. So that is something that really is a feature that comes with a standard ERP, the bill of material. And then it also helps you to remember that how many components are you are using with this particular, you know, finished goods or sellable product, right? So
right,
that's the main concept with the manufacturing one. And then it's like you generate a manufacturing orders, and the ERP auto calculates the components required and how much you have available in stock and how much needs to be procured, right? So those things and manufacturing combination ERP can easily do it. And that is what I think, which is a standard concept with any ERP out there.
yeah,
Specifically with Odoo, we have a great bill
and
of material.
those that includes well, include the nails, the glue, I mean the wood, different. But does that include, for example, the time for the employee? I think that is different, right?
Yes, it do includes the time and the operation when it
Uh-huh.
comes to bill of material. Specifically with Odoo, we do have that kind of functionality
Okay.
that
So we
we
decide
can
if
consider.
it's included or not. Okay. And what
Yeah.
about the tools? I mean, they need a hammer, a saw, and different things. It is including
Yes.
like, okay, this product requires, yeah, these tools
Yeah.
that, uh,
So we can also mention the equipments, like whatever the equipments are
mhm,
required to
mhm,
manufacture that sellable product. And with Odoo, we also have sub-assemblies concept. So for example, let's say you manufacture table head. So when I say that, okay, when I'm manufacturing a table, I have a table head and four table legs. Okay. But you need table head, so you need a wood, right? A wood
mhm.
sheet to manufacture table head. So we can do multi hierarchy. So generally it is called sub assemblies, and then
Uh-huh,
different
uh-huh.
industries call differently, but yeah. So we can
Yeah,
have
because
multi hierarchy bound.
yeah, in that example, I don't think table manufacturer he buys the legs. I mean, he doesn't buy the
Yes,
leg. I mean, he buys a lot of wood and transform it into legs that then transform it into
yes,
tables. So
yes.
yeah, yeah, that is clear.
Yep. Another concept that we generally have with with generic ERP or Odoo is also the warehouses. Like we can set up multiple warehouses. So one could be your manufacturing location, but another could be your just storage location. So we can have a multi setup of the warehouses with Odoo.
Hmm.
So and then the automation can happen between two warehouses. So as I said, that when we define a bill of material or a manufacturing order, and let's say you are planning to manufacture a couple of pieces of table, and it also helps you to calculate that how much you have available in stock and how much is not available. So if it is available at different location, it can also help you to automate and ask the other warehouse team to
Yeah, to send it
supply
there.
the material. Yeah. So generally, it is called warehouse resupply concepts with uh, with ERPs, but specifically in Odoo, we call it warehouse resupply. So it's basically, the automation happens between the warehouses where when there is a shortage of stock, you know.
Yeah,
So
I mean that is very interesting because sometimes they do have like the material in one place and the manufacturing process happens in different place.
different
So
place.
according to the planning for the manufacturing, uh,
Yes,
maybe they run out of wood, so automatically the system notifies the
yes,
other warehouse to, hey, we
yes,
need more wood here. But that
yes,
goes automatically. That's the idea of the ERP, that it automates
yes,
all the processes and not depends on someone that notice that the wood is getting lower and lower, uh,
absolutely.
and they have to send an email, but then they forgot, but then so the production
Yeah,
got stopped because, I mean, someone
the
forgot to.
material is not available.
Yes, so the idea is to automate, and Odoo helps a lot of here, right?
Yep. And then the interconnected, the other topic is also interconnected, or you can say the other feature which we call advanced shipping notice with Odoo. So advanced shipping notice is like, let's say you're planning to manufacture maybe next week, couple of table, couple of quantity of table, and then it can notify the inventory team in advance that next week you have to send this much material to this warehouse or customer locations. So they can be prepared if the if the packing needs to be done, or if they need to take out the material out of a rack and keep it ready. So so this is something that we have with Odoo specifically, is advanced shipping notice. So Odoo follows that almost at every place, that it informs the inventory team in advance to you know pro,
Okay,
to
okay.
to make sure the material is ready.
Yes, yes, that make me think that I just mentioned the when the material is required for manufacturing, but I think it also works where uh, uh, the company doesn't manufacture, but they only are sellers, resellers, retail,
Absolutely.
and they have different warehouses, and they notice that the demand for this product is stable, or maybe it's getting bigger, and
Big.
and and automatically also notify the other warehouse to
Yep.
to send them.
To Yeah, to keep the material ready
Yeah.
to send it out. So yeah, and this brings to me, on the make to stock or make to order concepts with Odoo. So generally, what happens with Odoo is like, when you are doing this kind of planning, or when there is a demand for the
Mhm.
product. Either it's from a manufacturing order, like you need a table head, right? So we have two different concepts with Odoo. So one is like make to stock. Whenever there's a demand, it's like you you can have more material also based on the demand, or based on the actual demand, it will just go in and procure, like, or ask for that much material. So let's say, um, maybe a simpler example is, let's say I'm manufacturing 15 tables right now,
Mhm.
and I have five available with me at manufacturing facility, but the shortage is 10 pieces, 10 quantity, right? So Odoo can automatically evaluate it. So let's say I have, maybe 20 different products, and all those products also requires one or the other material, so it can accumulate all the demand and then send a single notice to the warehouse team that, okay, these are the list of
Okay,
material
okay, okay.
required.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
because if you need 10 tables and 10 chairs and 20 center pieces, all from wood. The idea
Yes.
is not to
So
get the bigger warehouse where all the wood is, not to get three different orders with three different shipments
yes.
and three different timings. And the idea is to yeah, that makes sense. until you mention it, because otherwise it will be like, yeah.
So generally it accumulates the demand. So it could be a wood. Let's say wood would be a better example. Let's say for five different products, I need this much amount of wood sheets or this much meter of sheets.
Mhm.
So that can be accumulated into a single order, and the advance shipping notice can be sent to the warehouse team. They can make sure that the material is ready and send it out. So this is a concept which, basically system evaluates everything for us, and we don't need to do a manual you know evaluation that how much quantity is required to manufacture, or what is the shortage quantity, and then we need to procure. And you know what, it can also generate purchase orders. So for example, manufacturing facility requires this much amount of wood, this much meters, and then the warehouse facility even doesn't have that much amount of wood. It can automatically generate the purchase orders
Okay,
based
okay,
on
yeah.
the shortage to the respective vendors, which can be also defined. So in a nutshell, you can say we can just define the rules that when to generate a demand or
Yeah,
when
yeah,
to
yeah.
generate a purchase order, and it can do the magic. So
Yeah, no, and that is amazing because the automation is not only internal, it also could be with the external, yeah, provider or maybe a partner or whatever. But it also, I understand that you can select or you can set some rules, for example, for the automated purchase order. It could be like, okay, up to $1,000. If it's more than
yes,
that, someone needs to approve it.
approve.
um, but you
Yeah,
set the rules. I mean, it's not. I mean, the 1,000 is one example, but
yeah,
it is like up to the company to decide. Okay, we can buy automatically from this provider up to 1,000 per month or per order or for whatever. Uh,
absolutely.
but above that, someone needs to approve it, just to keep control, because you don't know. I mean,
Yep,
maybe the system automatically start to request a lot of things
right.
that yeah, someone needs to check that out.
I agree. So this brings to me another concept also. So for example, as you said that, we can definitely define the rules and the purchase order approvals. But for example, we also have a concept with Odoo called make to order. So for example, we took an example of a furniture manufacturing company. But let's say if there is a crane manufacturing company, okay, and there is a very the raw material is very huge, or if it is a very big machine manufacturing,
Hmm,
right?
hmm.
So you cannot keep enough quantity, of the raw material. So generally what happens with make to order in Udo is like whenever there is an order or whenever there is a demand, only that point of time you go in and procure the material. So
Right. Yeah.
generally it's impossible for a crane manufacturing company to just assemble a crane and keep it there, right?
Yes.
They'll need a huge space for it, right? So you can't have 200 cranes in stock.
No,
So
no, no.
so generally at that point of time, it's everything is order driven. So that's the reason we call it make to order. So
Okay.
with
Yes.
Udo, so whenever a customer is asking for the product, we do the assembly and the demand and the raw material. We purchase at that point of time whenever customer orders it, right? And then we do the final assembly and send it to the customer.
Right.
So
Right.
that also, such kind of companies, that it's very useful when there's a large like large products is involved. It's like that helps them to reduce the inventory. Overall, I think inventory helps to reduce the inventory, because you don't when you know the actual demands and the system do the calculation, it's like that can uh, reduce your extra storage stock, which is ultimately
Yes.
costing.
And yeah, and the cost of the inventory and the cost of the material, because sometimes there are materials that could be maybe too expensive just to have it there waiting for someone to
Absolutely.
make the order. So if it's too big or maybe too expensive or too I don't know, delicate or sensitive in
Yeah.
some way, it is better to just wait for the order, and once they have the order, automatically send the purchase order for those materials.
Yep. So, and like, I also wanted to clarify that Odoo can also do the mix of both, make to order and make to stock. So let's say some products you always keep in stock, but then some product, as you said, that is very delicate or very big, so you don't want to have enough stock of those products or very expensive. So we can
Hmm.
also do a hybrid, like both. Some products can be make to order, some products can be make to stock. So that's also a
Yeah, yeah,
feature
yeah.
that I really like with Odoo, and I've tried it with, like, we've done, with couple of companies and clients too, you know, where we have done the hybrid model, and some assemblies happen whenever the order is there.
Yeah, no, and that makes sense. I mean, if a company is manufacturing different products, thousands of different references, of course there are a lot that they have in inventory because they have a lot of demand, but they should be also an amount that it is depending of the orders. Uh, so yeah, that makes sense that they can decide which one is for different
Yeah.
reference.
Yep. And I also think that, when it comes to an ERP where, inventory and manufacturing involved, it's like scrap management is also very, very essential part, because, and Odoo handles the scrap very differently and very nicely, that, how you can record the scrap. You can have a particular location for a scrap where you can, like, it matches with your real world processes, right? Like, whenever if something is scrapped, you keep it to a different location on your warehouse, and then, you know those things also, I think, should be, it's like very essential for a manufacturing ERP.
Yeah, you mentioned. I'm sorry. I think maybe I got confused, but it is better to make the question and not assume. You're talking about scrap, so the material, for example, the wood that they don't use in the process.
Right.
So there is a lot of residual material or byproducts that, uh, yeah, what they do with that.
Yep. So basically, you can do the scrap sale, right? But Odoo allows you to, to help you to keep the track of the scrap. But when it comes to it, it's just not the wood, but it can be a finished good also. So let's say you're trying to make a table and something went wrong, and it,
Yeah,
like,
it
it's
broke.
broken
Yeah.
now. Yeah. So you can keep it aside and to a different location, theoretically in Odoo and into your real world. And then later you can decide that, okay, are you planning to repair it? And if it's not repairable, it's like you can do this sell. So Odoo helps you to keep the track of all the scrap being captured, like, you know, either
I
it's at the
think,
raw material. Mhm.
yeah, I think that is uh, also quite important because I guess I haven't worked on this kind of projects, but I guess that a company that is producing a lot of tables and chairs, I mean the regular example, uh, probably they don't know how much they lose. I mean they lose in
Yes.
waste on these kind of situations, or maybe
Right.
they never have the real measurement of how many got broken or maybe how many wood or yeah the corners or the extra parts that are cut in, how much how many tons of material they have,
Yes.
and the idea of the ERP in this case is to make to get the data for them to make the best decision, right? Informed decisions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then they can also evolve their process. So let's say if they are able to capture the amount of scrap, that's coming out of one particular product, then they can evolve the operations or process accordingly for that particular products, or these list of products where maximum time we're breaking something some or the other thing, and then eventually
Yeah,
goes
yeah,
to scrap. so so yeah, we also have such kind of concepts with Odoo. So we call it engineering on change with bill of materials. So let's say you might have identified that, okay, these five list of products is something where we need to improve on a process because we are generating a lot of scrap out of it. So so
yes,
even that
yes.
is something.
At the end, the idea is to make the company more profitable, right? To make more
Absolutely.
money. I mean, either reducing cost or selling more on different
Mm,
areas. So it is the idea with the same resources make more money.
right.
And I think that is, and what you have explained so far, it is very according to the ERP. That right?
Yes.
I mean, because sometimes we name it that it is like, yeah, an ERP, and Odoo, and that, like, but an enterprise resource planning is precisely what we are talking, is how you
Absolutely.
plan your resources. I mean, your products, your materials, your space on the warehouse, your money, uh,
Yes.
how you plan those things to make the company uh, more profitable.
Profitable. Another thing that I also wanted to point here is the most important part for an ERP is that it should be interconnected. So let's say you might have a different software for inventory which may have some or the other similar feature, and then you have a separate software for manufacturing which may also have some similar features, and then you may also have a purchase software, right? But
Yeah,
then it's really important that everything is tightly interconnected, so the automation can happen and the business processes can also be synced in, right? so, so
yeah,
that's
that
that's
that is
also.
that is very important, because at the end, uh, you cannot wait for the manufacturer to make the Excel report to the
Yes.
directors, for them to notice that the purchase notice that the wood is getting expensive and they cannot afford now. So I
Yeah.
mean, everything needs to be connected for making fast decisions.
Yep. Yep. Makes sense. So I think these things, these list of things is something which, from my point of view is very important when it comes to a manufacturing industry ERP. Of course, the accounting, the sales, the CRM, that's also tightly coupled, but you should always look forward to these kind of features when it comes to an ERP for a manufacturing company.
Yes, yeah, no, that is very, very uh, interesting and insightful for someone who maybe is getting into this world, and maybe they have a small medium company and they want to make the next step, and we know that there is a lot of terminology and concepts and different things that could be confusing. It could be overwhelming, and in that moment they feel like they don't get or
Yeah.
the idea what should be done. So that's why we are here. I mean, to share these ideas and concepts, to clarify everything. So it's been very, very useful, Ishit. Thank you for your time. I want to mention that to our audience that we have developed this tool. It is the we have called the Odoo calculator. uh, all we have been spoken here is about Odoo. Odoo is a software solution that has a lot of modules. We spoke about only two or three, maybe manufacturing, inventory,
Yes.
and purchases a little bit. But it has like CRM, it has the project management, it has the accounting, and as we mentioned, everything is interconnected for making the information flowing among different departments. And the development that I want to share with everyone is the Odoo calculator. You can go to calculator.odoo.com. There you can see my another video of me explaining what it is. But it is like a small tool that only takes you 5 minutes, where you can select like, okay, I want manufacturing, accounting, purchases, and we have uh, 10 users. And with that information, the tool is going to calculate how much in time and money it could take for us to implement a solution for you. So if you select a lot of modules and you have many users, of course, it's going to take more time and more money. But you can play around with that and experiment, okay, and get familiarized a little bit about the modules, about the solution, what costs are involved. And I think that is very useful because they can just go there and explore what they have in mind. And from there, we can later have a further discussion about their project. But it is like as a tool for anyone who can go and see what could take for us to implement a solution for them. So Ishit, thank you. Thank you so much for this time and it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Diego. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I think we are going to make a video for the other kind of mm, companies, maybe services, maybe different
Yep.
companies, how they can use Odoo and clarify those main concepts. So yeah, everyone, they can check our channels, our YouTube channel and our LinkedIn page. We're going to share that there. Thank you again. Thank you everyone for watching this and have a nice day.
Thank you.
Bye.